Morning light glinted off the marble floors of Riviera Manor as Emily Caldwell, 32, stepped through the ornate entrance. She wore a simple, cream-colored sheath dress, elegant in its understatement, and carried only a slender leather satchel. Her chestnut hair was loosely coiled, and the sole ornament she bore was her grandmother's silver locket. Guests in couture and tuxedos drifted past polished columns and crystal chandeliers, their laughter mingling with staff preparing for the evening's Caldwell Foundation Gala. Approaching the reception desk, Emily kept her tone composed. "I'm here to confirm arrangements for tonight's gala," she explained to the young receptionist, whose practiced smile faltered at Emily's unbranded attire. The receptionist combed through her screen. "I don't see your name, Mrs. Caldwell," Emily supplied calmly. "James Caldwell called ahead, will arrive by yacht at 4. Before the receptionist could respond, Nathaniel Gray, the resort's general manager, appeared, his gray suit immaculate, name tag glinting. He studied Emily from head to toe. "Mrs. Caldwell?" His voice carried a note of skepticism. "We have no record of you. Are you part of the staff?" Emily met his gaze. "I founded the Caldwell Foundation. This gala is our event. My husband will confirm shortly." Gray let out a short laugh. Few foundation heads arrive alone in a plain dress. He snapped his fingers, 2 guards emerged. "Please escort Mrs. Caldwell to the exit." A ripple of whispers swept the lobby. A guest discreetly filmed on her phone. Emily inclined her head, unshaken. "May I at least use the ladies' room?" she asked. Gray hesitated, then nodded curtly. "Make it quick." As Emily was led away, her back to the stunned crowd, she passed beneath the chandelier, each step precise, each heartbeat measured. In 2 hours, her husband's yacht would dock, and the true tide of influence would shift. Tonight, those who judged her by her simplicity would discover the weight of character that lay beneath. Emily entered the ladies' foyer, its marble-veined walls and bronze fittings reflecting her composed silhouette. Once the door clicked shut, she exhaled, steadying the flutter in her chest. Memories of mornings spent in her grandmother's basement, laying out linens for charity sales, floated through her mind. Those humble beginnings had taught her a quiet confidence. Painted signage directed her toward a row of stalls. Inside the farthest, she locked the door, leaned against the cool tile, and retrieved her phone. Her thumb hovered over a message draft, Code Cinderella, Riviera Manor. 2 hours. She tapped send. Almost instantly, a reply blinked on the screen, understood. Protocol initiated. A practiced smile crossed Emily's lips. She tucked the phone away and opened the door to find the 2 guards blocking her path. "Mrs., whatever your name is," the taller guard said, arms crossed. "Mr. Gray wants you off the property immediately." "Of course," Emily replied serenely, smoothing her dress. She turned and followed them back through the lobby corridor. Nathaniel Gray watched from behind the reception desk, the corners of his mouth curling in triumph. Guests paused mid-conversation to witness the spectacle, a simple woman being marched out. "Perhaps next time, you'll book under your own name," Gray called after her. He adjusted the floral arrangement atop the front desk. Onlookers pretended not to stare, but the whispers spread like wildfire. Emily kept her gaze forward, head high. As she passed the mirrored walls reflecting opulent chandeliers, she thought of those who measured worth by attire. How fleeting their judgments would be. At the entrance, the guards halted. One offered a condescending nod. "Taxi line's right out there." "Thank you," Emily said softly. She passed beyond their outstretched hands into the coastal air, leaving Riviera Manor's grand facade, and its illusions, behind. Stepping onto the palm-lined drive, she felt the full weight of anticipation. In 2 hours, her husband's yacht would arrive, a vessel of floating opulence, bearing the true Caldwells. Tonight's performance would belong to them. Emily walked the curved driveway, its polished cobblestones warm beneath her heels. The midday sun gleamed on the waves beyond the manicured lawns. Riviera locals and resort staff gave her curious glances, uncertain why the Caldwell event's hostess had been turned away. A valet's car idled at the curb, an unassuming black sedan. As Emily approached, a discreet figure in a crisp uniform stepped from behind. Marcus, her personal driver for the afternoon, offered a silent nod. "Everything's arranged?" Emily asked, placing her satchel in his open door. Marcus gave a slight smile. "The cafe by the old pier. Quiet spot. Your iced tea's waiting." Emily settled into the rear seat. Marcus closed the door and eased away from the resort grounds. Through the tinted window, she watched Riviera Manor recede, its golden gates, sculpted fountains, and marble steps. Once off the main drive, Marcus parked under a white awning at Harbor View Cafe. Blue umbrellas dotted the patio overlooking the harbor. Emily stepped out, her cream dress glowing against the azure water. Marina activity hummed, sailors coiled ropes, fishermen mended nets, seagulls wheeled overhead. Emily breathed in the salt air, a reminder of her childhood summers by Lake Geneva, where she'd first learned about resilience and reinvention. At a corner table, a tall iced tea awaited, condensation beating on the glass. Emily rested her satchel, checking her inherited gold watch. Exactly 1 hour and 40 minutes until her husband's yacht docked. Her phone buzzed. Diane, her husband William Caldwell's executive assistant, texted, "William is livid. ETA 2 hours. Stand by for instructions." A quiet smile touched Emily's lips. Ever the strategist, William trusted her judgment, knowing she preferred subtlety over spectacle. Emily sipped her tea, planning the next moves. Soon, her quiet retreat would end. She would return to Riviera Manor, no longer as the unassuming woman in a simple dress, but as Emily Caldwell, whose presence commanded respect. And those who had judged her would learn the true value of character and composure. The afternoon sun rode high as Emily strolled along the oceanfront promenade. The breeze teased her hair, and the scent of salt and citrus drifted from nearby cafes. She clutched the iced tea in one hand, another sip grounding her thoughts. Telephone wires and palm fronds bowed overhead as she approached a low-slung boutique, Mariner's Wardrobe. The window display held flowing kaftans and tailored jackets. A discreet sign read, "Private fittings by appointment." Emily pushed open the door. A soft bell tinkled. A woman in a navy blazer and silk scarf rose to greet her. "Mrs. Caldwell," she said, ushering Emily toward a curtain-fitting alcove. "How long?" Emily asked. 20 minutes, the stylist replied. She handed Emily an elegant navy blazer, cream blouse, and tailored trousers, the perfect ensemble for Riviera's afternoon reception. In the privacy of the curtained cubicle, Emily slipped out of her sheath dress and into the new outfit. The fabric draped perfectly, the cut accentuating her silhouette without ostentation. A string of cultured pearls completed the look. Stepping back into the boutique's small mirror, Emily nodded. She felt the shift, a confidence born not of labels, but of readiness. Outside, locals paused to admire her. A baker, carrying croissants, tipped his hat, a painter, with easel tucked underarm, offered a gentle smile. Emily returned their nods and continued past flower stands and gelato kiosks. Back at Harbor View Cafe, she set aside the remnants of her morning look and draped the cream dress over her satchel. The supporters she would meet tonight expected polish. But beneath the tailored jacket and pearls lay the same resolve that had carried her from kitchen counters to grand ballrooms. She glanced at her watch. 45 minutes until the yacht's arrival. Emily paid her bill, leaving a generous tip, and stepped back onto the promenade. The final phase was near. Tomorrow, Riviera Manor would recall the woman they had expelled. But today, Emily Caldwell walked unhurriedly, each step a quiet rehearsal for the evening's grand entrance. With 30 minutes to spare, Emily arrived at Pearl and Ivy, a discreet salon nestled between boutiques. Inside, cream walls and potted orchids lent an air of calm. A senior stylist, Juliet, welcomed Emily with a warm embrace. "Ready for your debut?" Juliet asked, leading her to a plush chair. Emily nodded. "Make me unrecognizable." Juliet's skilled fingers worked swiftly. Dark chestnut locks were brushed into soft waves that framed Emily's face. Makeup, neutral yet luminous, highlighted her eyes and cheekbones. Each brushstroke added elegance without extravagance. Nearby, an assistant laid out Emily's accessories, diamond stud earrings, a cuff bracelet, and a cream clutch embossed with her initials. As Juliet applied the final touch, a rose-toned lip stain, Emily caught sight of her reflection, poised, refined, and unmistakably Emily Caldwell. Diane's text arrived. 2 hours to sunset. Odyssey docking at 5. Emily responded with a single word, "Understood." Juliet draped a lightweight silk scarf over Emily's shoulders. "All set," she said. "You'll turn heads." Emily rose, thanked the team, and took one last look in the mirror. The woman who entered as a humble visitor had become the gala's marquee guest. Stepping outside, she moved through the afternoon light, drawing respectful glances from passers-by. A chef in his whites paused mid-prep to watch her pass, a florist paused her arrangement, breath taken by Emily's grace. As she approached the marina's edge, Emily felt the familiar hum of anticipation. The final act would soon begin. Emily's phone buzzed as she neared the end of the promenade's curve. She answered promptly. "Emily," came the warm voice of Carter Lansdowne, owner of Riviera Manor and longtime friend of the Caldwells. "William told me you might call." "I'm at the marina," Emily said over the gentle lapping of waves. "I need you to help Nathaniel Gray learn a lesson in courtesy." Carter chuckled softly. "Subtle, as always. I'll have his phone ringing shortly." Emily outlined her plan: no firings, just a guided opportunity for Gray to mentor scholarship students at the Caldwell Foundation's new hospitality program. Carter promised to finesse the details. "Don't worry, Emily," he said. "Gray will be bending over backward to impress when the Odyssey docks." "Thank you," Emily replied, her voice warm. "See you soon." She ended the call and watched the horizon. In 20 minutes, the silhouette of Odyssey, William Caldwell's 300-foot yacht, would appear. Nearby, a group of sunbathers murmured about the yacht's rumored grandeur, helipad, crew quarters, and accommodations for VIP guests. Emily took a deep breath, envisioning how Gray would scramble when William arrived early. An hour ago, she had been forced off Riviera's grounds. Now she negotiated behind the scenes, turning prejudice into protocol. The harbor's gentle swell mirrored her quiet satisfaction. Emily checked her watch, 15 minutes to docking. She straightened her posture, adjusted her pearl earrings, and prepared to board with the authority of a foundation's co-founder. As the sun began its descent, the unmistakable silhouette of Odyssey crested the horizon. Marina staff mobilized, red carpet rolled out, staff aligned in crisp uniforms, and champagne quietly coursing through ice buckets. Emily stood at the dock's edge, her cream ensemble glowing in the golden light. Nearby, Carter Lansdowne greeted William Caldwell as the billionaire descended the gangway, his silver hair and tailored navy suit a picture of quiet power. William's gaze swept the assembled staff before finding Emily. His calm blue eyes registered satisfaction. He approached Emily, offering his arm. "My wife," he announced to the crowd. "Emily Caldwell." 12 hours earlier, Riviera Manor escorted her out. Now, the docks parted in respect. Staff bowed subtly, guests whispered in astonished admiration. Nathaniel Gray, forced to stand at attention, witnessed the scene in disbelief. His earlier triumph crumbled as he recognized his mistake. William led Emily past the welcoming party into a private pavilion. Palms rustled overhead. The harbor breeze carried the faint strain of waves. Gray followed, summoned by Carter's discreet gesture. His face pale, he approached Emily and William, voice trembling. "Mr. and Mrs. Caldwell." William held up a hand. "We have a brief matter to discuss before tonight's gala." Inside Riviera Manor's private lounge, marble columns and art-lined walls framed Nathaniel Gray's unsteady posture. Behind a low table, William Caldwell folded his arms. Emily Caldwell studied Gray thoughtfully. Gray swallowed. "My apologies for this morning's misunderstanding." Emily inclined her head. "You once judged me by my dress. I ask that you now judge me by my character." William added, "We value your management, but we believe in giving opportunities." Emily produced a folder from her satchel, the Caldwell Foundation's proposal for Riviera Manor's new hospitality mentorship program. "I'd like you to mentor scholarship recipients, young people from modest backgrounds." She tapped the document. "And tonight, we'll announce a scholarship fund for your hospitality students." Gray's features softened as he reviewed the plan: scholarships, training grants, and internships. His earlier arrogance gave way to resolve. "I accept," he said, voice steady. "I'll personally oversee the program." Emily smiled. "Thank you." William extended his hand, which Gray shook firmly. As they left the lounge, Riviera staff lined the corridor, offering respectful nods. A few even-mouthed, "Forgive me," to Emily. That evening's gala glittered under crystal chandeliers. Emily and William moved through the crowd, celebrated as partners in philanthropy. Gray joined them, comfortable in his new role. Emily caught William's eye across the ballroom and mouthed, "We did it." He nodded, pride and love shining in his gaze. Outside, Riviera Manor's lights reflected on the bay. Emily Caldwell, once judged by a simple dress, had rewritten the narrative. True grace and wealth lie in dignity, generosity, and respect for every soul who walks through those doors.